48 Laws of Power is a best-selling book by Robert Greene. Greene argues that there are 48 essential laws for understanding power. For each law, he provides examples of those who followed it, those who didn't, and the outcomes. Today we're breaking down the second law: never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. This law reminds us that while friends can be comforting, it's often enemies who push us towards our highest potential, revealing strengths and vulnerabilities we didn't know we had. Let's look at a case where this law was clearly violated. Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, also known as Poatan, is a Brazilian mixed martial artist and former kickboxer. He's celebrated for his stoic nature and crazy knockout power. Pereira had one of the fastest and most impressive routes to become double champ. Pereira joined the UFC after a former enemy called him out, which we'll get into during an observation of the law. Jamal Hill, also known as Sweet Dreams, is an American mixed martial artist competing in the UFC's light heavyweight division. He was champion before Pereira, beating Pereira's coach Glover. Jamal was hoping to reclaim his title against Pereira in the UFC 300 card. When they both first met, Jamal Hill played the fake nice guy card, attempting to get into Pereira's head.
What is Shama mean? Shama is let's go. Oh, let's go. Okay. Yeah. Hey, question. I get you to sign something. Okay. Hoodie. I got everybody on the card to sign it. Even though we're gonna go to battle, we're gonna do our thing. I'm still a fan. I still respect you. I still appreciate you.
On the surface, Hill appeared to be using charm and disarming friendliness to create a psychological advantage. He played up the buddy-buddy angle, hoping Pereira would let his guard down or underestimate him. But this was a mistake.
Just to getting acquainted with the visual that I plan on seeing on Saturday night. I'm gonna hold that head up high.
Eu vou fazer ele lembrar desse momento.
I'll make him remember this moment when I'm in my walkout about to go into the octagon and my music is playing. I'll make him remember this moment.
Write it down, take a picture. I don't give a
Pereira, a respectable and humble guy, saw through Hill's attempts to manipulate him. Hill immediately broke Alex's trust and made him resentful. With this on top of the fact that Hill beat his former coach, Alex was not happy.
Até o dia dele.
Well, it's a great opportunity to be fighting UFC 300. It's a huge opportunity. I'm very pumped for it. A few days ago, regarding Jamal Hill, he played a nice guy. He asked for an autograph, and then he did what he did yesterday. Tomorrow it is what it is.
When the fight arrived, Pereira didn't fall for any of it. Instead, he brought the same aggression he always has.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're going to keep it clean. You may touch gloves if you wish at this time.
And Hill, on the other hand, seemed a little unprepared for what came next.
Stop. Continue.
Please, get out of here.
Big early knockdown for Poatan. Oh, my goodness.
The fake friendliness tactic backfired. Pereira knew how to use enemies, not trusting Hill's friendliness, and it showed. This was a clear transgression of the law. Hill transgressed the law in an attempt to manipulate Pereira, and the law's point is to turn enemies to friends to benefit yourself. Attempting the opposite will only end in anger. Pereira shows his first observation of the law, knowing not to put too much trust in a friend. To really understand this law in action, we have to look at the saga between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya is one of the UFC's most dynamic and celebrated fighters. He was dominating the middleweight division, capturing the UFC middleweight title in 2019 and successfully defending it multiple times. Before their UFC days, Pereira had already beaten Adesanya twice in kickboxing, with one being a brutal knockout.
In ring trying to do the work, but then this fight I fought and I got knocked out, my first and only ever knockout loss, and then my only back-to-back loss as well. He watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like I beat this guy, but I've never ever watched any of his fights ever. So at the end of the day, no one knows who the he is, and he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about I beat that guy one time.
As middleweight champ of the UFC and then calling out Pereira, Izzy had already laid out the framework for Pereira's hype. The UFC wanted to see him and fans wanted to see him, so Pereira used his enemies to his advantage. He decided to join the UFC.
Hello guys, now it's official. UFC, thank you.
After a historic run to the top, Pereira faced Izzy and, you guessed it, Alex beat him again.
Pereira's had his most success to the body tonight. Oh! Here's that left hook! Here to bell! Oh, and now a right! All of a sudden he's on one leg! Two more! Down goes the champion! Pereira trying to close the show! That'll do it!
Now enter Sean Strickland. Strickland was ranked in the top 5 when he fought Pereira. Unfortunately, this was during Alex's historic rise to the top, and Alex ended up finishing him too.
A level change or a shot on Pereira would be good because he's...
Most fighters wouldn't come back from a loss like that, but Strickland is different. Instead of avoiding Pereira, he chose to spar and train with him.
Yeah, let's fight again. Don't knock me out this time.
Strickland didn't need to trust Pereira as a friend. He knew how to learn from his enemies and use this opportunity to grow. Later, Strickland went on to face none other than Israel Adesanya. Strickland came in as a massive underdog, and what happened next?
By unanimous decision, and...
Learning from both his own and Izzy's enemy, Strickland was able to beat Izzy and become the UFC middleweight champion. Strickland's willingness to learn from his former enemy is a perfect observation of the second law. Never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. These examples show how misplacing trust in friendships can weaken your position, while enemies can sharpen your instincts and push you to new heights. Whether it's inside the octagon or in life, never forget the power of a worthy adversary. Trusting friends might feel safe, but learning from and using your enemies can bring you true power.